Well, good morning, and welcome to yet another installment of our daily office reflection. Today we are looking at Psalm number 1. That's right, we're starting in the very first psalm today. So this is Psalm 1. I'll read it and then talk about it some. So the psalmist writes, "Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or take the path of that sinners tread, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by the streams of the water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither, and all they do, they prosper. The wicked are not so, but they are like the chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish." So that is Psalm 1. The Lord walks in the way, or the wicked will not stand in judgment. The Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. So for this, I'm leaning heavily on a commentary written by Ellen T. Chari. It is the Brazos Theological. There we go. Yep. Brazos Theological Commentary. It's my favorite series of commentaries. And she wrote brilliantly on it. Often when I'm doing these, I research several different commentaries and then I kind of put something together. But I don't think I can do better than what she wrote. I mean, it was brilliant. So I'm going to read sections of this. One thing to know is this is the beginning of the book of Psalms. It's the beginning of the Psalter. She seems to think that the psalmist has read some of the other Psalms, or the editor has selected this one to go first. One of the things that we sometimes forget is when we talk about the Bible, we might treat it like it came down out of heaven pristine, or sometimes maybe we think it's like the Quran, and that we think that God dictated it to whoever. But that's not how it came to be. God worked with human creativity. God worked alongside of the authors, inspiring them. And so they did have different writers, and they had different authors and different editors. We know that the Bible was edited a lot. And in my mind, that does not detract in any way from its meaning. I think what it speaks to is the ways in which God has worked through hundreds of people throughout time to give us this incredible book, which reveals God to us. And so somebody had to decide which psalm would be the first psalm, right? And in doing so, they placed this psalm, which has incredible promises, in the front. And it, that the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, and that those who delight in the law of the Lord, their leaves do not wither. I've never seen a tree that does not wither. Even like I had pine trees growing up, and if we call them evergreens, and they are always green, but like their needles wither. They're a pain to rake, like big time pain. When those pine needles fall. So, why would the psalmist begin this way? Why would they start the entire book this way? And Dr. Chari has, I don't even know if she's a doctor. I should probably know who that is. But she says that Psalm 1 identifies the theological hope driving many of the poems of the collection. Even if the pious currently languish outwardly and the impious flourish outwardly, it behooves Israel to resist abandoning the ancestral faith. There are times when it seems like, all right, well, if the ways of the wicked are not going to prosper, why does it seem like being faithful is harder than just doing what we want? And so what this psalm speaks to is the hope. And Chari goes on to say that happiness lies not in the signs of outward success that others, including the wicked, may enjoy, but in the joy of a conscious faithfulness to the way God has called his people to go, regardless of the price. Even if God is silent and does not restore the godly to positions of honor and status in the short term, the faithful triumph because they are the strong trees that bear fruit and vibrant leaves. They know themselves to be so, and that is rewarding. The wicked may insult them, but their failure to defeat faithfulness in Israel renders their chatter like empty chaff that the wind disperses. No one of moral substance can be taken in by them. As for those lacking in moral substance, well, the godly need not be perturbed. So, what she says is that righteousness is its own reward, that holiness is its own reward, that following God is its own reward. So often we might try to use our faithfulness or our righteousness as tools to get something else. But what this psalm teaches us is that righteousness is its own reward. Which, by the way, righteousness is one of those words that we can say is holiness, or we could even call it as justice. And that justice is its own reward. And so maybe we meditate on that in this time when we can't do much else. Can we work on our holiness? Can we work on our relationship with God? Can we meditate on God's law? Can we study the scriptures more and come to know them more? Can we love our neighbor? Can we be prepared to love our neighbors more? Can we grow in our own fortitude, even if it doesn't produce fruit that the world might recognize as good? Or that the wicked might recognize as good? Can we trust that God is calling us and loves us? And can we be faithful regardless of our circumstances? I hope that we can. I pray that you can. And make that your prayer today. Pray that God would sanctify you through and through, that God would make you righteous, that your first love would be God, and that your everything would be following his will. Today's might be an easier day to be faithful, might be a day to go sit on, I don't know, let's say somebody might have a deck that overlooks a pond, and it's a good day to go sit out there and spend time in prayer. Maybe. Or maybe somebody has a big yard that it takes a long time to mow. I don't know. Okay, so I do know that that's what's apparently Wayne and Sandy have, and Diane, hello to you too. But use this time to draw closer to God, to let him sustain us, even when it seems like the leaves might be withering. Know that I am praying for you today, and may you rejoice that this is the day that the Lord has made. Take care.